Hello again, it's Dr. Brian Hulsey from Foundations Chiropractic in Lake Oswego, Oregon. I have been doing a series on thyroid hormone metabolism, and so far we've gotten through some hormone interactions, the pathway from brain all the way to the cell. Now I'm talking about how cortisol from increased stress, again, any change in normal physiology or function can cause increased stress and cortisol. So cortisol impacts the thyroid hormone metabolism pathway in a few different ways here. So some of the ways I'm going to describe are any possibility, are definitely possibilities that can happen with altered stress metabolism or altered responses to stress. So these responses definitely need to be looked at, and another thing that we test for. So again, we're looking at cortisol and its impacts on thyroid hormone metabolism. So the first pathway that can be affected is that we have increased cortisol, and that can act on the hypothalamus, specifically the paraventricular nuclear cells of the hypothalamus, or the PVN. So what is going to happen is we're going to get suppression of TRH, or thyrotropic releasing hormone. Thyrotropic releasing hormone is released from the hypothalamus and then acts on the pituitary gland to stimulate release of thyroid stimulating hormone. So if you remember, thyroid stimulating hormone now acts on the thyroid gland to stimulate activity of thyroid peroxidase enzyme to create thyroid hormone. So a lot of physiology here know that cortisol can have drastic impacts on the brain, and this is one way that we can shut off the system. It's a fail-safe mechanism. The body's not going to continue to produce the energy that it needs if it feels that it's under stress. So one fail-safe mechanism there. The next one is that these cortisol surges can impact thyroid conversion of T4 to T3. Now remember, T3, especially free form, not bound to thyroid binding globulin, is the most metabolically active thyroid hormone. Now this enzyme is shut down pretty easily with inflammation, cortisol surges, as well as a lack of selenium, which is a very important mineral in many processes throughout our body. So if we have any of these things, we're going to shut off this enzyme, and we're going to favor production of some other thyroid hormones. So T3 sulfate, T3 acetate, and then reverse T3. So remember, there's still a little bit of a chance with T3 sulfate and T3 acetate to be converted to active T3. But again, we need a healthy small intestine to do this. So the reverse T3 is going to act as a stop signal on cellular metabolism, whereas regular T3 is our go signal. So some of these things can definitely be impacted by inflammation, cortisol, nutrient deficiency, so we definitely need to check into that. So, and the last way is we can shut down the actual catcher's mitt at the cell, so now the thyroid hormone won't fit in there correctly. So now the thyroid's not going to impact the cell and tell it what to do. So if this is a gut cell or a stomach cell, it may not produce enough hydrochloric acid. If it's a small intestinal cell or liver cell, we may not detox regularly or fairly efficiently. So those things can definitely be altered with decreased thyroid hormone. Brain function. So this video was on cortisol interactions and 3 ways it can impact thyroid hormone metabolism, starting from the top in our brain, actually in the hypothalamus, decreasing TRH, or thyrotropic releasing hormone. This is going to decrease stimulation of the pituitary gland to secrete thyroid stimulating hormone, which then acts on the thyroid gland. We can have decreased conversion. Most of this occurs in the liver. T4 to T3, it's going to shut down this enzyme 5'-deiodinase. Too much inflammation or cortisol, as well as selenium deficiency, are going to cause that, creating more T3 sulfate, T3 acetate, reverse T3. We can still get some conversion to T3 from T3 sulfate and T3 acetate pending a healthy small intestine, as well as the not having a leaky gut or inflammation there from food sensitivities, parasites, other gut bugs, bacteria, yeast. And reverse T3 acts as a stop signal on cellular metabolism. So again, that's a check and balance system. Or we can get decreased receptor site sensitivity. So the cell itself is not taking up thyroid hormone. So stay with us next time. We're going to talk about progesterone and its importance with thyroid hormone metabolism. Have a great day.